Good morning, Western Washington, and happy Tuesday. I'm Matthew Fab with Western Washington Weather, and this morning we've got an interesting forecast to look at in terms of our couple normal days ahead and then a potential for a heat wave coming up. So we're going to start here with the satellite imagery. As we get into that, you can see we have some clouds draped across the area this morning, kind of a sharp cloud deck there. Some high clouds riding over some of these lower clouds here. You can see it's mostly clear for some areas, but mostly cloudy for others. And in association with that, we do have some showers offshore. Some of those will move up toward the north coast and stuff. But overall, not very much rain expected across the area today. Just a few showers up on the coast. Now taking a look at our overall pattern here. This is from the European model last night. So we have this troughing offshore. And that weakens through the next couple days as we start to get under this ridging. As we go into the middle of this week and into next week, this will all continue. So you see here Thursday and then Friday, and then you have the ridging continuing to build as we go into the weekend. Then take a look as we go into next week how strong this ridging gets over Haida Gwaii and some areas to the north there. And that is going to bring us some pretty warm temperatures through the middle to the end of next week, possibly before some troughing starts to move toward the area, which will bring some more uncertainties in the forecast. So taking a look at precipitation, you can see there's some areas of precipitation at times today along the coast, and then some of those showers, some drizzle may continue at times Wednesday morning across parts of the southern lowlands and then along the Olympic Peninsula. And then after that, we dry out, and we are dry for quite a while here, at least a week, likely more, until potentially that troughing comes up toward the area middle to the end of next week. So taking a look at the National Blend of models here, you can see total precipitation through the end of this week, a few hundredths of an inch for parts of the coast and the Olympic Peninsula, maybe a little bit of drizzle for parts of the lowlands, but otherwise that's it. Taking a look at the National Blend of models here for temperatures. So we're looking at high temperatures today on Tuesday. From Seattle northward, you have highs in the low to mid 70s, mid to upper 70s from Seattle southward, near 80 there around Portland, and then mid 60s on the beaches and mid to upper 60s, maybe some low 70s, a little bit inland on the coast there. Very similar on Wednesday, and then on Thursday we start to warm up again. So Thursday from Seattle northward, highs in the mid to upper 70s. Seattle southward, highs in the upper 70s to low 80s, and then from Olympia down toward Portland, highs in the low to mid 80s, and then near 90 for southwest Washington and Portland, including Clark County there and the Longview, Kelso areas. The coast likely in the low to mid 70s. We warm up further as we go into Friday there with highs from Seattle northward in the upper 70s near the water to the mid 80s inland. From Seattle southward, you get a little bit of a sea breeze there, bringing some cooling conditions right near the water, keeping those areas in the upper 70s. But away from the water, you have highs in the mid to upper 80s, potentially some low 90s. From Olympia and Shelton southward to Portland, you have highs in the upper 90s to the upper 80s to upper 90s. You can see southwest Washington there, 99 at Portland and Vancouver there, similar temperatures. The coast getting pretty warm with some offshore flow on Friday there, with highs likely in the mid to upper 70s, maybe even some low 80s. As we go into Saturday, the coast remains in the mid to upper 70s, and then it warms up quite more here in the interior, with highs in the low to mid 80s from Seattle northward, except some areas east of I-5 there may be getting in the upper 80s to low 90s. And then from Seattle southward, there highs in the mid 80s to low 90s. You can see 90 in Tacoma, 92 in Olympia. From Olympia southward to Portland, those highs in the low to mid 90s, and then southwest Washington in the upper 90s. Continuing into Sunday, we remain warm with highs from Seattle northward in the upper 70s to mid 80s, Seattle southward in the mid 80s to low 90s, and Portland area in the mid 90s again. The coast starts to cool down a little bit with those highs returning to the upper 60s to low 70s. Then as we go into Monday of next week, we cool down a bit more with highs remaining in the upper 70s to mid 80s Seattle northward and mid to upper 80s Seattle southward, and then low 90s in southwest Washington, remaining there in the upper 60s to low 70s on the coast. And then we start to cool down a little bit more as we go into Tuesday. However, some extended forecasts have not really shown this being cooler and have in fact shown the heat continuing a little bit. So let's take a look at that here in just a moment. So here is the European model forecast last night from for SeaTac Airport, and you can see these next couple days, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, remaining in the 70s. Then it shows a little bit less of a warm-up there on Friday, but then this heat continues here from Saturday all the way through Wednesday, potentially to Thursday of next week, with those highs in the mid 80s to low 90s for SeaTac Airport. So then if you're looking at somewhere like Portland, it's going to be a bit hotter than this, and we can actually take a look at that here. So if you go down towards southwest Washington there and parts of Portland, you have those highs potentially in the upper 90s to low 100s. You can see the European model showing 100 degrees in Portland on Friday, and then remaining in the 90s all the way through Wednesday of next week. Now taking a look at the GFS model, this one has a little bit less skill, so I would kind of disregard anything from here on. So these last 5-6 bars in the forecast, I disregard those. But it shows a similar trend there, highs in the mid-70s for the next few days here in Seattle, and then we start to increase there with those highs in the mid-80s to low 90s going into the weekend. And then you can see that that may potentially continue for a little bit longer than the National Blend of Models forecast we were just looking at what the map was showing. And we may have a few days with highs above 85 degrees, near 90 degrees here going into the end of August. So this is something we have to watch very closely, because this is a pattern that not only can cause some difficulties for a lot of people living around here, because this is not something that usually happens for a sustained amount of time, especially at this time of year, but also this will likely allow the Bear Gulch fire to ramp back up along the Olympic Peninsula there and potentially produce more smoke across the area. So this is all something we have to watch very closely, and I will be watching it very closely in my upcoming videos here. And I want to take a look at the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook going from August 24th to 28th, so that is next week. And you can see that that signal is shown there, that above average temperature likelihood there for parts of the Pacific Northwest and the inland west there. While a lot of the country deals with below average temperatures, the Northwest will likely be above average. You can see that's like a 60 to 80% chance here of above average temperatures from the 24th to the 28th. And in accordance with that, that precipitation chance is below average there, specifically for western Washington, but also for other parts of the Northwest. There's monsoon thunderstorm activity here over parts of Nevada, Arizona, Utah, even California, and potentially down into Idaho as well. And this is bringing some above average precipitation there, but we have the ridge up here that's bringing the below average precipitation for parts of western Washington and the Northwest at large there. So yeah, thank you guys all very much for watching. Be sure to subscribe to Western Washington Weather here. It would be great to see the continued growth of the channel, and so be sure to subscribe here below this video. And you can also follow me on Blue Sky, on Twitter, and the Western Washington Weather Facebook group. All of these are great resources, and I'll be continuing to post updates about the potential heat wave and everything like that, both here on the channel and also on my social media. So be sure to check those out as well. So thank you guys all very much for watching, and I'll talk to you all later.